You know, Hayden's just being a bit of a twat. I'm sat here waiting for the cameras to go live, and he's telling me my double chin's really coming along and really been working on it. You know, thanks a lot, Hayden. You know, do you ever talk to your future self? Do you ever talk to your future self?
No, of course not.
Well, I do sometimes. Well, I did years ago. Now it's too depressing. But you know, sometimes it's like a mentor that doesn't exist yet, because you sort of ask yourself questions. Say, what would I do if I was older and more experienced? It is actually a management technique.
It's stupid.
Well, you would think that way, but
Well, yeah,
you
of
know.
course, because future you knows more than present you. Unless future you's got dementia.
Hey, you don't remember what happened yesterday.
I remember great things.
Like what? Give me one thing.
Price list at Miller and Carter Steakhouse.
I had a nice meal. I must give a shout out for Ozma in Prestwich. Lovely meal. Very nice. Only a small place. I like small businesses, so small restaurants. In fact, I just had my dad call me before the show to tell me a joke and then moan about this restaurant he ate in town. The joke was terrible. I thought I'd give it as an opening. Anyway, I'm Stephen Englander. This is my Between the Spreadsheets show, where I like a light-hearted look at businesses. And thank you for joining me. On tonight's show, we're going to look at the congestion charge, trading with India, and breeding bulldogs. But first, was that good, Graham? Are you happy with that intro?
It'll do.
It'll do. Okay.
Do you know what? When you started that future self bit,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to get a great clip out of this, and then you just went off into a story
Well,
about your dad.
Yeah.
Bollocks.
Do you want me to carry on with the future self?
No, it's too late now. It's too late.
You should have told your future self. You should have told your future self before.
He's got to be careful how far ahead he goes.
But you did
because he doesn't want total blank.
You did the perfect intro to a standalone clip. And then,
Thank you very much. We'll use it anyway.
Hey, a perfect intro or just a good intro is a huge step up for this show. We're winning.
How's my chin? Chin which?
No, which chin?
Which? Hey, I want you to promise me something on the next week's show. Put your clothes on. Don't sit there. It's putting me off. What do you think of Andy Burnham? Didn't you have a chat with him a few weeks ago?
No, I spoke to Andy Burnham a long time, about a year or two ago when my mother-in-law passed. Yeah. But we did talk at some point about the clean air zone.
It's great, that, isn't it? Clean air zone. By the way, what this is affecting, just to clarify it for you, they're starting off with Manchester, Greater Manchester, which is what, 500 square mile radius, where if you've got cars, not cars, but things like trucks, vans, taxis, and they don't conform to certain standards of polluting, then they're going to be charging you to come into the Greater Manchester Centre. So even if you live in, say, Gorton, and you want to go to Cheetham, you're going to be paying these extra taxes, and I think that's got far-reaching effects. Even though we don't think they'll be, it'll be rolled out to every single car, and it's just another way of increasing taxation. I think it's controlling people's movements as well now. But you know, what is it? £6 a day, £7.50 a day. Yeah, it's actually awful. It will never. No, well, I'm not sure.
Well, Stephen, if you own a motorhome that doesn't meet,
that's true. Where they're pushing you, and look, let's take the attitude that what the government are doing is for our benefit. You know, Andy Burnham was saying he didn't have any choice; it's the government putting pressure to do it. But let's say it's pushing us towards electric vehicles. Ultimately, electric vans, electric cars, they're going to be cheaper for you to run. I mean, my dad's got an electric car, and he phones me regularly to tell me he's just gone to London. It cost him £3. So you know, there is maybe start thinking that way, that I need to get my car vehicles electric or conform more to what's less polluting. I know it's an unnecessary burden. There are grants. You know, I'm not sure how easy they are to get, but if you look in our what do you call it, Graham? What's the bit underneath the show?
In the description.
In the description for this
First
show,
link.
you'll see a link, and it'll take you to a site which will show you how to apply for a grant. And there are quite a lot of grants, and they are being a bit more sympathetic towards the smaller business. So there's, you know, if you're a man with a van, or you use a van to move your stock around and go and collect stuff, then do start looking to apply it. And taxis out there, especially Uber drivers, it might be better for you to start looking at electric vehicles and look at it as a serious capital expense to your business. And don't forget to look at your costing to incorporate this if you do fall under these heavy taxes. Sorry, Hayley, put your hand up then.
I just think it's a massively poorly timed exercise because the small business person has been hammered over the last year or two.
Yeah.
You know,
well, they always are.
People like that, market trader.
Everybody is.
They've been smashed, and now they're finding out, oh, we'll give you a grant towards a new vehicle. Well, where do I get the rest of it from?
That's right. There's always a problem. But you see, I don't intend to be one of those show hosts that says how terrible it all is. I look at it and say, you know what, it's unfortunate that this is yet another burden on the small business. However, we've got to do something about it. There's no point fighting. I mean, but you know, sign the petitions, do all that. But the main thing is you want to get on with your business and have a look at your costings. At least once a quarter, you should look at your costings. So if you are a business that falls under this, you have a vehicle, you have a taxi, you have a van, you have a coach. You do need to look at it as an issue now, and if you need to put your prices up, everybody's in the same boat. And this is the real issue that affects people because they swallow the cost of things. They don't think I've got to put prices up. We all do. You know, even in my industry, labour charges have gone up. We're not affected by the lack of being able to get members of staff, but the quality of the service we've got to give now, whether we wanted to or not, has improved so much. We need better quality people, and whatever way you go, it's you've always got to be looking at new costs, whether it's increase in wages, increase in fuel bills, increase in everything. That's what you should take away from this. You know, yes, it's scandalous what's going on, but prepare for it. You know, that's all we can do. There's not a lot else.
People really want to get angry.
Yeah.
And this is kind of outside of the business world, but if you really want to get mad, this is a Greater Manchester tax on Greater Manchester people. The company they're getting to run the scheme are French. And they're getting 48.1 million of our money and giving it to a foreign
people
company.
Are so burdened, they just don't care.
It should be a Northwest company.
They just don't want to pay it. But it's going to get rolled out all over. You know, every council in the country is
I
going
don't
to say,
care about anywhere else.
Well, I do, because we've got clients all over the country.
Yeah, but I care about me.
You care about you, yeah.
How does it affect
It doesn't
me?
well, it doesn't, because you've got a nice BMW and you drive from there to there to there. You go from one steakhouse to the next. And
yeah, but theoretically, if the thing that will never happen happens,
cars,
and we know it's going
car.
to happen,
Yeah.
It will cost me just to go to the supermarket. I'll have to pay. Actually, even though I'm already paying
Let's not panic,
tax
people,
on fuel,
because at the moment it's only on taxis and vans and HGV and.
but keep panic as an option.
Well, panic can be a bit of fun. By the way, the buses and the bigger stuff the tax starts 30th of May, the end of May this year, but we've got another couple of months before the smaller business are affected. So it's probably been pushed back a little bit because of people objecting. But do have a look at what grants are available. And sometimes you go and, I know you've got a van, it's coming to the end of its life cycle. Maybe look at, there's a lot of good finance schemes for electric vehicles. I mean, one of the one I think I've mentioned before, if you get an electric vehicle, it is an option to take the first year allowances, which means you can claim the entire cost of the vehicle against your profits. So if you spend £30 on an electric vehicle, you can knock the whole thing off your first tax bill. I mean, you're not getting anything extra. You're just getting it this year instead of like 25% over the next 4 years, or depending on what depreciation method you use from years to come. So there are things. If you're unsure about what tax benefit you'll get as a business, then do give us a call and we can look at that. I'm going to cross that off. UK and India are at the moment in trade talks, aren't they? Which is pretty good, because buying and selling from India, services and products, because they've got a massive marketplace, and they do want to be the next China, but without the atrocities that go on with people. It's worthwhile having a look at what you could sell to India or buy from India. It's a massively growing business. I mean, I've had some software, I've had some coding done from firms in India. It's a bit cheaper than here, but it was nice dealing with them as long as they can speak English. It's when people can't speak English that I get irritated, because I'm getting that age now. Do you?
I've been that age since
Forever.
a child, yes.
It's not that. You know, it's not that of a problem with people who don't speak English. It's just when they don't speak English, I find it harder to understand what they're saying, and I tend to get frustrated. And you know, I might miss an opportunity because I don't know what they're saying, and that's it. But a lot of them now are speaking very good English, and it's very well worth looking at them. You can get there are organisations, just type online, that will give you contacts all over India, and Indian people in India seem to like English goods. So there you go. You've got something to say about India, haven't you?
I really like India. I've spent a lot of time there.
I've never been.
I remember I was in a hostel one night and I went into the movie room.
Yeah.
Where they proudly have movies playing like 24 hours a day, and it was this whole hero story about when they kicked the British out. And they were all like rising up, all dramatic poses and going, screw it. And all the English people had like dodgy tashes like this. And they were all going, oh, excuse me, sir. And it was really awkward, but I didn't mind. I was like, hey, man.
Well, I'm just looking at the commercial aspect of it. I don't care whether it's India or China or
that country's
Pakistan
it's going to be amazing. The middle class is like blossoming there. The wealth creation is phenomenal.
Well, because I'm on online meetings sometimes, and I see the background of the offices, and I can see the way that people are dressed in the office, and you know, there's a lot of professionalism out there. Anyway, you know, Mr. Jenko he commented on my TikTok version of the discussion we had about that tennis player Novak Djokovic. Did I say it right? Yeah, I thought it was a great one. He says, the knowledge here is amazing, hours of research. And I thought that was quite funny because I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm not really into sports and things, and I didn't really know what was going on. And the article was given to me because they thought he was in the press as well, so the algorithm will pick it up, so I should mention him. And I thought it was a her, and I didn't really know where he was from, and I didn't know what I was talking about, because, you know, it just plonked in front of me and say, read that. And then Hayden got involved and Graham got involved. But, you know, one of the things I did say was that if you're doing something that's provocative, and even though he's a sportsman, it's a business. Sportsman, that's his business, selling himself as a sportsman. So I know sometimes negative press and standing up for something will create a certain fan base. But I think a more long-term fan base is to go with the flow and actually do things that people like and good things rather than being the anti-hero. And I think he's looking at being arrested now for telling lies. So, you know, it's not a clever thing that, you know, stand up and be provocative. And I wouldn't, unless that's, you know, you have a whole culture designed around doing that, like some rap stars or whatever. They attract the bad boys.
Stephen,
yes.
I'd love to jump in because
Go
Duke he's been relentless.
Who is?
Duke Bratsy's got a question for you.
Okay.
He says,
don't know.
He says,
9 inches. Even when it's cold. Oh, not that question. Sorry. What's the question?
He would like to know about investing in metaverse. Good idea to get in early, or just no good idea at all?
Right. It's a question that I would answer on the basis of what your background is. See, I think if you don't know the business you're going to invest in and get involved in, then you're taking far more of a gamble if you know all about it and you've already got contacts. Now, I don't have any contacts that would enable me to go into the metaverse, so I wouldn't do it. But I do have contacts to sell other things, like maybe if I got offered to invest in a watch company. I know firms that deal in watches. I know firms that deal in kitchens. I know firms that deal in all sorts of things. But I don't know anyone in the metaverse. So to me, it's a gamble. I suppose what you can do is look at it like a hedge fund type thing, where, you know, if you've got knowledge of the industry and where it's going to go. I mean, if I was going to gamble on anything as an investment, I would look at the metaverse. I've been reading up a bit about it, and I think it could be a decent investment because it's the way society is going to go. I mean, look at how valuable Facebook is and Google and all these places at these firms. And when they started, we didn't quite know how they were going to go. And for years, they weren't making any money and, in fact, losing money. So I think take it for a medium to longer term investment, put a little bit of money into it, and increase it depending it results. But if you'd like to talk to somebody about that, a friend of mine who's going to be coming on one of our shows, he knows quite a lot about investment and crypto and the stock market and stuff like that. Hayden wants to say something.
I don't invest in anything. No. That's not what I do. However,
food.
If I was going
steak,
very short-term investment.
Still,
usually about 6 hours.
Yeah, but you have a flow going.
If you want to invest in the metaverse, you might not get in as early, but over the next 3 to 6 months, monitor the sale of virtual reality goggles.
Yeah.
See what the uptake is, because so far it's been quite slow.
Yeah, but all of a sudden it could just jump into... You see, the thing with the metaverse is what they're selling now probably isn't going to be the big unicorn. What that leads to could well be. So yeah, keep an eye on it, buy a few shares. Just don't buy more than you can lose comfortably. You know, if I was going to buy something, and I'm not even sure which version of the metaverse I'd be investing in or where, but I would probably look at something like maybe the cost of a meal out, and it gives me a bit of fun to watch. Like, how much have we lost on SHIB now?
Well, I've not looked at it for weeks.
But we're probably on the way down.
We made a lot at one point.
We did, and it's all gone.
We did well at one point.
But that's proof of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we didn't know what we were doing. We just thought, we bought £100 each of SHIB Anu.
SHIB,
yeah. And straight away, it went it went down, it tanked, and then it came back up a bit. We thought, we've made a few quid, and now it's come back down again.
The important thing to do is basically look for whatever we invest in and run away screaming, and you'll not go far wrong.
No, but you know what? Sometimes investing a bit of money into something, just a little bit, it focuses you into it as well. It sort of creates an interest. So, yeah, that's it. And if you do invest in it, you can tell us every week how you're getting on, and maybe advise other people what should and shouldn't do. I personally like investing in my own businesses because I can control everything.
That would be my
watch the hardware. Even I wouldn't. Yeah, the coders are a bit fickle until it's actually out there.
Well, it requires VR glasses to be fully immersed in the metaverse. How are sales of those going?
Yeah.
Facebook, Meta, whoever are going to naturally skew it towards their own product, Oculus.
Yeah, but that might not be a bad thing either.
Well, no, it doesn't matter. Just keep an eye on the sales. That's all.
And let me know how you get on. Be interested. Yeah. Not that interested, so don't phone me or anything. But
he said, "Well, do you know what? I was just about to say." He said, "Good answer," and then you just like insulted him as I was opening my mouth. Well, no, he said, "Good answer, thanks."
No problem. Do you know what I like about Manchester? It's quite, in relative terms for the UK, it's quite a forward-looking city in many ways, despite the congestion charges. But Media City, they've created such a great environment that it's pulling business in. And I think that's one of the positive notes of having a good government. They say, let's make Manchester the best city in the world. Let's make London something else, and they're on it. And one of the things... Yeah, okay, but it's still the government that pushes them. Yeah, so sometimes it's worth putting your ideas out there and getting involved in with the local governments and councils. Just keep shouting, keep getting your views across. But the reason I mentioned Manchester is because I was sent an article about Marvel, because apparently there's 15 Marvel, Netflix and Hollywood stars who are massive people. I don't know who they are, I just got told this. And they're from Manchester. And I thought, is that because people in Manchester are naturally more talented in that world? Or are we beginning a massive infrastructure that are helping all this?
Well, we've always been around the arts in Manchester. That's just a fact. The film business is growing exponentially here. Look, you got the Sharp Project, you got Media City, and there's independent studios popping up everywhere, like Black Octopus Production.
Who's Black Octopus?
Oh, it's a wonderful new film.
Who are they?
Ken Sonta, Daz Lawrence, and a guy called Hayden Hewitt, I believe.
Right. And what do you do?
Oh, we make films.
Good ones.
Oh, the best.
I've seen 2 of them.
All of them.
I've seen both of them. I enjoyed them. I was in one of them.
You were.
You wouldn't let me in the second one because you wouldn't let me take my clothes off, would you?
No, although that was the second one.
Right, just that's the second one release.
Yeah. Confusion.
Yeah.
But no, Manchester's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't they come?
No, but this is what I'm saying. If you get a good government, good councils, good people that care about the city, it putting that infrastructure in all the time. And if you've got an idea and you want to expand your business, you've got to shout a bit. You've got to get out there and push it. What's next? I just thought I'd say that. Right, now I've got one here about more about the fuel prices and the abysmal stuff that goes with it. And it's a lady called Anne-Marie Morris from Devon. She's Devon MP, who has put she's in support of removing the VAT from the fuel charge, and therefore she's been not sort of kicked out, but virtually kicked out of the party. She's still an MP, isn't she? But she's had to put up with a lot of stick, and all she's saying is let's remove the VAT from this overinflated, terrible energy bills that people are getting, up to £2,000 a year for the £2,000 a year for the average household. I've got a slightly different take, and I just wanted to put my idea across. That my belief and what I'm seeing is that the problem with the increase in fuel isn't caused by VAT or other government duties. It's caused virtually by bad management, because we have plenty of alternative fuel supplies and we've got plenty of ways of generating fuel, but the industry itself is being so badly run and such corruption, such stupidity, that we've got these high bills. Now, for instance, what you might not realise is that the VAT is only 5%. It's not the full 20%. But even if it was, you can't have government policy being giving in to popular opinions. Sometimes taxes are unpleasant, but sometimes what you get for them is better. So if the government say they need 5%, we've got to sort of support that, because we're not going to be able to change it anyway, and we've got to go along with that, because the government need that money to provide the infrastructure that we have. And can go about the argument, schools and hospitals, but I'm looking at more important things like parties at Downing Street, because that 5% goes a long way. But 5% on what they're looking at in households at £2,000 is what's 5% of £2,000? It's £100 a year, isn't it? So it's hardly going to make a difference. But then you look at other things which the government has it's not really just them doing this, is the green tax, which is up to, I think it's just below 23%. Now, look at the difference between them and what you get. I think the government should actually tax a little bit more, if necessary, and improve the infrastructure so that the medium term is to produce more energy here independently, and get the price going right down, and maybe even create a society that we don't need to charge for energy at all. That's just what I'm thinking. Have you got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I've got a breakdown here of the fuel bill.
Okay.
This is how it breaks. This is 2021 to 2022. If your annual cost, which is average, was £1,277. Wholesale costs £528.
Okay.
Network costs, pipes and wires, £268. Operating costs, including billing and metering, £204. Other costs, £34. VAT, £61. Profit for supplier, £23. Of £1,200.
Everyone's got to make some money. But all I'm saying is that it's not always as you see it. It's not. It's incompetence, this. So you want to blame the government. It's not the 5% VAT. It's the incompetence of the way these energy companies are run. I don't know if it's corruption. I don't know what it is. But looking down, I think we talked about the shale stuff. There's more. Hayden, do you want not Hayden? Graham, do you want a little scream about shale? Because you normally do.
No, I'm all right.
Okay,
no.
because we've got.
Johnson, by the way, did say, I don't think removing the VAT is going to help anyone.
It won't.
He's 100% right.
Yeah.
Removing that ridiculous green tax would help a lot.
And building the infrastructure, keep a few more checks on what people are doing. That's what I'm saying. That so I mean, I think even though I think an MP should have an opinion, and I mean, a Conservative MP wanting to remove taxes for the benefit of the public is someone that it's a night, we don't see it very often. But if I was in that share, I would also probably vote against the tax, and it goes back to businesses as well. Businesses, and the general public won't like this, but businesses, if you know that you require energy and it's an item within your business, then you've got to bite the bullet and adjust your prices accordingly. Or maybe ask yourself, are there any other ways of acquiring energy? How feasible are solar panels? How feasible is hydrogen? You just got to look at the alternatives and be flexible. This is why we survive in business. So I thought I'd mention that. Now, I've also got, moving on to the next one, because no one's got anything else more to say on that. North Korea fires a suspected ballistic missile. Now, I've put that because my Melanie's been looking at articles for me to talk about, but I don't have any notes about it, and I don't know what's going on. And, Hayden made a comment before that it wasn't a ballistic missile. It was a hypersonic. Hypersonic. And I said, if Melanie says it's ballistic missiles, it's ballistic missiles.
Ballistic missiles are very common.
Yeah, but if you want to argue with Melanie, because what Melanie says is right.
Well, let's make it a little more interesting.
Okay.
So North Korea have allegedly, and it is allegedly, developed their own hypersonic missile. Countries like Russia have them, they've given them to it. I think Iran have some. We doubtless do. So Japan is now working on a railgun to shoot down hypersonic missiles.
Can I ask you, who's making these missiles?
I don't know who's making the North
Are there
Korean
people?
ones. I highly doubt it's North Korea.
Yeah, but are there people in the UK that could make these things and sell them?
Of course there are.
Okay. Well,
we
can
do
move
have
on.
a thriving arms industry in the UK. We sell arms to despots all around the world.
At least the quality's there.
Oh, yes.
Choosing pets over kids is selfish. Do you think that? Because the Pope said that.
Why is it selfish?
Choosing pets over kids.
I mean, if you have pets and kids and you put the pets first, perhaps...
I'm not keen on either. If I'm going to go there, I like animals. I like dogs and cats, but I don't really want to look after them.
Well, it's a simple
I'm going to
hierarchy
crap on
in
some
my
else.
house. Junior is at the top.
Yeah.
Then the pets. Then Mrs. Hewitt. And then way down below, me.
It's you. Yeah,
I'm quite happy with that.
I'm the same sort of ratio. But pets, it's a bit of a product as well. Did you hear about that those millionaire couple that was selling bulldogs, and they were fined? Well, not fined, but they were ordered to pay £20,000 back to the people that bought the dogs because they didn't have any licenses to breed the animals.
I detest dog breeders.
Yeah, I find her a bit...
I mean, for our bulldog, I had to pay someone, and I wanted to strangle him.
Yeah.
But I needed to get that dog away.
I'm just
from
not comfortable. I mean, look, we've got some dogs. They're very cute. They make a lot of smells and things, but Melanie likes them. And, we got them from a registered breeder. So, you don't have a lot of choice. Better than the old way that any Tom, Dick and Harry could just do what they wanted with animals.
They still can.
There's some law,
the French
though.
bulldog breed, the pug breed.
Yeah.
Bulldogs now with all the multicoloured.
Yeah, but I think the point is if it's going to be a business, run it through the guidelines set down by the government, because they're usually quite good. If you want to take shortcuts, then you take chances. But it's not just with dogs and cats and animals. It's with everything. It's with food. It's with model aeroplanes. It's whatever you do. Just follow the rules. You don't need to break them, but do go after every opportunity you can, and keep shouting. I am the best breeder. This is why. Don't do things that go against the law, because then you can't shout about it. So. Well, you're smiling at me when I said that because you like your schmuckles, don't you?
No, I detest dog breeders.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some lovely ones out there. All the ones I've met and rescued dogs from have been dreadful.
Yeah.
Without exception.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it all the time. It's just one of those industries. But then you get the people that are in that industry that breed dogs because they just love dogs.
They're a different thing.
Yeah.
But even then, The whole pedigree thing causes me problems.
Yeah.
On
What was I
a
gonna say?
lighter note.
On a lighter note, right, I always listen to what Graham says. And he says to me, we've got to get those algorithms up. So mention a footballer. So the only footballer I could think of was Ronaldo, because I'm not a big football fan. So if I can say Ronaldo and put him in line with a story. So the story I found was that astronomers have found a planet that's shaped like a football. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Do you know, before the show,
Yeah.
when you asked me, can I have the name of a famous footballer?
Oh, yeah.
I should totally have given you a bullshit name.
No, but I've heard that name. Yeah, and we there was another footballer that we act for his godfather, and he phoned the office once, this famous footballer, and asked Tony if he knew a babysitter.
I think I know the football. We can't mention him, but
We
I think I
can't,
know
yeah.
the football you mean. And he is
Yeah.
indeed very,
Very
very,
big,
famous.
and keeps threatening to come in and let us do his accounts for all the businesses he's opening.
We need to have a bit more of a talk about the algorithm after this, Stephen, because you don't just mention the footballer's name and get
Is
on
that
with
not
the
how,
show.
well, what about Kim Kardashian? I mean, Pete Davidson. Is it Pete Davidson's romance? You know, she's worth like 1.2 billion now, isn't
Yes.
she? And all she does is shout and get herself in the public. It's all about shouting all the time, isn't it? Getting your name out there, letting people invest in what you
Which
do.
is funny, because when I go out in public, shout and show my ass, I
Yeah.
end up in court.
Yeah,
I don't get a billion.
I don't understand that.
It's very unfair.
Maybe you go.
Sexist.
I think you're mixing in the wrong people.
I think that can only be the only answer that makes sense.
How did she get so famous anyway?
You're asking the right one. I've got no clue.
Don't you know? Do you know how Kim Kardashian got so famous?
She used to hang about with that Paris, and then she did a sex
Paris.
tape. Paris Hilton.
Oh, she's a bit classier, isn't she?
Very classy. Her
Yeah.
sex tape was in standard definition.
I didn't even know she made a sex. Who made the sex tape? Kim Kardashian.
All of them.
Oh.
And they accidentally get leaked. By accidentally, I mean they get released.
Yeah.
And they, oh no, it's the tape's out, and then everyone watches it, and you're more famous.
Graham's sex tapes get
Nobody
sort of.
needs to see Graham's sex.
No, I'm saying they get thrown in the bin when the stickiness was. You know, when he's untying his latest friend. Can't say that, can I? You know, back talking about energy. You know, these undersea turbines. You know, and have you seen these little ones as well? That can go in everyone's stream, and they all generate income to the house. But underwater turbines, just small ones, strategic place, could give pretty much free energy to the UK and reduce bills by another 10%. So there you go. That modern days of VAT.
Now, do you know what that sounds like to me? A free lunch.
Yeah,
And do you know what problems I have with a free lunch?
there's another cost.
What does it do?
Yeah,
It's
but-
like, you know, the windmills. Everyone says it's free.
No.
Also decimates wildlife. And this isn't tinfoil hattery, gives off a low-level frequency that if you live too close to them, it just makes you mental.
But move somewhere else then.
Yeah, but I don't live near windmills, so I'm fine.
Okay, so you're okay.
I've
So
seen
no
them
problem.
in the distance.
Yeah, but this is about money and business, so you go where suits. But you know, you say that, but all energy production causes problems.
Of course it does.
So you mitigate the problems, but the more
Nuclear,
you do,
that's what we should do. Because at least when that goes wrong, it's okay.
it's everybody's okay. But that's in line with your agenda, isn't it? Just shut down the world.
I tell you, if I didn't have a kid, this massive meteor that's heading past the Earth, I'd be all up for that. Because COVID's let me down terribly. Everyone's survived. Get the meteor. But
Well,
I've got
that-
a son, and I don't want him to pass away.
What about your mum and dad?
They've had a good run. They're fine. They're fine.
Well, the world according to Hayden. Do you know that Next and IKEA are cutting sick pay for unvaccinated staff? Well,
No,
Is
it's
it?
disgraceful.
well, I'm not sure how the legal side of it, but if people think they've got it and taken time off, remember, business isn't always nice.
But their vaccinated staff can take it in and give it to everybody.
yeah, okay.
So
but
what's the difference?
well,
This
you know,
is the two-tier society that concerns me greatly.
I've not had anyone trying it on, but if they try it on and they say I can't come in, I've got COVID, or if I need to have a test or something, my attitude is fine. Don't come in. You're working online today. Go and hold
Yeah,
up.
but
in your-
IKEA can't do it. And also,
Yeah.
IKEA, do you know what? They're wedged up.
They started off as
seriously.
Nazis. Yeah, but it's the fine line
They
between
can't let that National
our staff
Socialist hedge
taking
go, can they?
are staff taking the piss, or are they genuine? Are IKEA and Next defending
If someone
themselves?
says I've got a positive test,
yeah,
then they've got a positive test. And if they were vaccinated, they could
But we're
still
back
have
to that argument as
positive
well.
test.
Should businesses have to constantly carry the burden of this, of anything? Do they have to constantly be responsible for every problem that employees have?
Okay, I think that's the wrong question, because what you're saying is, should we have to worry about every employee? Well, that's a yes or no.
Well, I don't
But
think
what
we
I
should.
don't like is we should like some, depending upon whether they've had a vaccination, which doesn't affect their operation terribly, but they might, and I'm just putting this out there, have shares in Pfizer. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm going to ignore Hayden and just say you've got to make every business. There's no real right or wrong here. You've just got to do what keeps your business ticking over.
You've got to just stick it to your employees as
No,
much
you know,
as possible.
if you've got a member of staff that does the job well, right, consistently, and they're an asset to you, then look after them. If they're a bit of a shithead, then use an excuse to get rid of them. But I'm a bit of a, what have we got left? How much time have we got, Graham? I don't know what time it is.
Oh, we're 6 over now, dude. We're at the end of the
Okay.
show.
Well, I think we can't let this show go on without mentioning Prince Andrew. and
Just in case we're not in enough trouble for me calling Nike a National Socialist.
well, they were Nazis during the war, weren't they?
Probably.
Well, the owner was.
Swedish, I don't know.
Well, they're bound to, but the meatballs are good.
Very silly.
We're
I've
back
never
to
eaten them.
meatballs. Can't believe that.
Never eaten IKEA meatballs.
Prince Andrew is now facing a civil claim, which is easier to deal with.
The opposite. We had this
Sorry.
discussion before. A criminal case.
A criminal
you'd get
case,
away
okay.
with.
Let me, a criminal case, but it's easy to deal with because the repercussions aren't as
It's
profound.
less icky.
You see, with a civil case, that's about money. It means that on the balance of probabilities, right, okay, well, it's about more leaning to that side, so you're guilty or you're innocent or you're not guilty, sorry. Whereas if it's a criminal case, it's like we're beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a much harder case to prove, which is why the strategy is to try and get a civil case. Because even if you lose a civil case, you're not facing the problems that you'd be facing with a criminal case. However, the danger here is that if he loses the civil case, it gives more ammunition for a criminal case. So the strategy, I'm not sure, but what I do know it's a strategy. And let's see what happens
The
next.
man's in trouble. The man's in trouble. If you're a member of the royal family and one of those powerful and wealthiest
Surprised
families
it's got
in the
this
country,
far.
well, yeah, apparently Mummy won't bail him out.
They're all distancing, aren't
But
they?
if you can't buy yourself out of this with that wealth and power,
Yeah.
you've got a real problem. And I think he's done that much ducking and diving.
He doesn't
Everyone's
for an educated man. He doesn't speak very well. He doesn't.
Oh, he made terrible
doesn't-
choices. That
yeah,
interview.
it comes out with crap.
His handlers must have been beside themselves when he did that. But I do.
It's back to the breeders, really, isn't
Yes,
it? They should give all the money back as well.
Should have gone from a slightly deeper pool.
Well, as we're boring people now, and we're getting beyond our time, and Hayden, I keep getting you mixed up. You're so similar with Graham.
That's disgusting.
Graham, you've not said much on this show, and I'm a bit concerned.
Because I'm not in your eye line, so you don't talk to me. I'm behind you now. Look,
You
show
are.
them where you are. Look at me so they can see where I am. There. That's where he has to look.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Because Aiden's there,
He
you
normally
just
interrupts.
Go, just go, oof.
Well, Hayden's
Well,
my favourite anyway.
It's actually, yeah.
I've never liked you,
But it's actually because you're talking to Hayden constantly. I've been mixing the show, and
Yeah.
doing my job.
Okay.
It's actually been lovely not having to do.
Well, should we, just finish on the quote of the day? In fact, I must just tell you that. Did you ask a question before? What would you do if you were braver? Was that something else?
No, our conversation was, what would you do if you had £1 billion?
Oh no, I think someone said it must have been something. Someone said, "What would you do if you were braver?" And I said, "I'd probably go for that extra curry without Melanie knowing." But I did go to McDonald's today, and I went for lunch because I was working, and I looked up and it was 3:00. And I hadn't eaten. There's nowhere to eat. I thought I'd go for one of those plant burgers. And when I got there, I just couldn't do it. I chickened out. Quote of the day. Graham.
You've just answered it already. What would you do if you?
Oh,
weren't
that's where I
afraid?
heard it from.
Yeah. Why would you then jump?
I
to the
didn't
quote of the
see
day?
it. I didn't. I just knew that someone said what was the quote of the day. What was
Well, I
would you if
didn't
you
read
weren't afraid?
Belgium.
Go on, Hayden. Just Graham. Just ask it me. Go on. Do it in that high-pitched voice you've got.
Right. Well, what shall I do? Shall I cut this then? So that
No,
when
no,
the
no, no.
clip-
Just let people let it
people
sink
see
in.
how slick
I'll
and well
say
produced
something
this
else. I'll say something else.
Okay, this is Cheryl Sandberg, and she asked, "What would you do if you still had short-term memory?"
If I still had short-term memory.
No, it's
Sorry, what did you say?
What would you do if you weren't afraid?
I'd get a big wolf.
Hey?
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Oh.
Wasn't that Virginia? What's her name? The writer.
No.
Going,
Who's afraid of the
going
big
to a
bad
really
Virginia
lucid
Woolf.
place
Virginia
now.
Woolf. Oh, no.
She didn't say who's afraid of the big
Who's,
bad wolf.
was there a film about her? See, two things in one go. Short-term memory gone and...
Strange wolf obsession.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting up with us. And I'd like to thank Hayden for being here. And I'd like to thank Graham for being here.
But mostly hate.
But mostly Hayden. Good night. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.